A new world issue has arisen from the Green Revolution: the increasing number of genetically modified crops infiltrating our natural world. However, the problem is not with the plant or crop itself. It is the perversion occurring within the species' genetic makeup. It is from foreign genes that have been inserted through unnatural means that alter a plant species. These hybrid species should not exist in the natural world.
Wow, that sounded really heavy. I'm guessing you're already halfway out the door, because that sounds kind of boring, right? I promise I can make it relevant, that it is in fact important, and relevant not just to you, but to anyone that's important to you. Let's look at some facts.
Superweeds. Okay, so what is a superweed and what does that have to do with GM crops? Some of the latest and greatest modifications involve the development of a herbicide-resistant plant. This means that when you spray chemicals such as Roundup to kill the surrounding weeds, where care was taken before to not spray the crop itself, the new GM crop can have the chemicals sprayed directly onto them and not be adversely affected.
Yes, you did hear me correctly. Our food source can now be directly sprayed with cancer-causing, tumour-inducing chemicals.
Think the glowing crops in The Simpsons.
Okay, maybe not so luminous, but you catch my drift. We eat this stuff, and they'll try to tell you that it's safe.
But I digress. The point is that this new gene, which enables the GM crops to tolerate the herbicides, is able to contaminate the surrounding weeds, which in turn means they too are herbicide resistant, or more companionably called superweeds. The answer to this, according to the manufacturers of such crops, is to use a combination of even more toxic chemicals. As if eating Roundup wasn't bad enough. How about we start using 2,4-D, which is an active ingredient in Agent Orange? But wait, it's completely safe, remember, and beneficial to the economy to grow crops weed-free. So why not amp up the toxicity?
Okay, so let's agree that humans, the atmosphere, waterways, soil, and local flora are intolerant of these new age crops with their added chemical use. But so are the local flora. Have you heard about the bee crisis around the world? It's called colony collapse disorder, or CCD.
If we look at this image of the dissected thorax of two honeybees, the differences are obvious. It would be easy to assume that the bee on the left has been dead for quite some time. In fact, that bee has been in direct contact with a GM crop and the one on the right has not. Both bees were just as alive as each other. And what is more, our interfering genetic modifications have the potential to prevent natural selection from occurring. Natural selection is a critical part of evolution as it produces resilient genetics that are able to survive in our changing climate. Due to this, we open the door to a possible species extinction. Considering how easily cross-contamination can occur, as in the Steve Marsh case in Australia, it means the original species can become overcome, and so in the instance of a cataclysmic event or natural disaster, what eradicates one crop can easily devastate all.
Do I still have you? Do you understand the relevance and importance about these concerning issues? Now we're left asking ourselves what can be done about it. The best way to act on this is to gain knowledge. I myself did not know any of these things, but through research conducted to complete my report,
I now know what to look for. By knowing what commodities potentially contain GM products, we can avoid purchasing them. Websites such as truefood.org.au can help you gain knowledge on what foods are best avoided to prevent supporting the increasing introduction of GM crops on our farmlands. Consumer rejection is the best way to tell these large, money-grabbing manufacturers
that we do not want these frankenfoods on our shelves, on our farmlands, or on our conscience.